Yo, what's up? Now, with new sticker update in B-Swarm, there's been a lot of, trying to figure out where the stickers are, how to get some of these stickers, and yeah, a lot of luck. Now, I think one part that a lot of people overlook is the descriptions and the stickers themselves. They're very beautifully crafted by Onnit himself, and I found out that there are references to a lot of things in this new update. So I decided to take my time, do a little bit of research, use the B-Swarm wiki, and here I've compiled almost all of the little references that this new sticker update has given to us. Now, obviously, I've mentioned a few times in the video that I don't know some of them, and if you know just any of these references that I did not mention, please tell me, and I will put them in a part 2, because I've heard that Onnit has plans to add at least 500 stickers, so there's most likely going to be a second part to this. I don't know when that will be, but when there's going to be more stickers and more references, I will definitely make a second part to this, and maybe even compile them into one full video. But yeah, first video, I hope you enjoy it, to be honest, and let's get straight into it. Alright, so let's begin. We're not going to talk about Cub skins or Hive skins, first of all, because they don't really relate to anything. Hive skins, nothing really to say about that. But let's now start into the Hive stickers. This is where things get kind of complicated. Alright, well, let's begin. So let's start off with the colorful buttons. Colorful buttons has a description of resembles a famous gamepad layout. Now, I'm not too sure about what it could be. I mean, there's a lot of different games that use these 4 colors. I mean, Twister is a great example, though I do believe that it is talking about like the PlayStation or Xbox, whatever it was. Basically, the controller device that was very popular in the 2000s and 1990s, around there, and is still widely used. So yeah, that's what colorful buttons is most likely referencing. Next, we'll talk about the white flag. Now, the white flag lets the world know you've given up. Obviously, it's a reference to the surrender flag, and obviously seen a lot in pop culture, such as France used it a lot. Alright, so this is where we get our first little interesting little tidbit of information. So the orange sticker, I'm not sure how you say it, makes reference to the 1979 novel The Never-Ending Story, which has an amulet with like the same name and the image as the sticker. Because of this, the sticker also kind of makes a reference to the natural macro, which is a popular macro that is used in B-Swarm Simulator, which has the same, or pretty much the same symbol as the orange sticker does. Now we have Doodle S. Doodle S, I mean, there's a great video by Lemino that tries debunking where Doodle S came from, or also known as the Super S, the Universal S, the Cool S, or the Middle School S. I mean, it's a very simple drawing. Go watch Lemino's video on it. He can explain it in much more detail than I ever will, because I don't have that much time. So the 8th note is pretty simple. It's basically half of a regular note, so that's why it has that little tiny tick on it. Combining 2 of them will make one full note, but they will look kind of like the bridge thing. I'm not too sure what you call it. Alright, next we have the Shining Halo. Now the description for this one says bestowed upon the divine. The only thing I could really find was from the Bible, and it was 2 Peter 1 ratio 3-5. I'm not too sure, but it says God has bestowed upon us through his divine power. Yep, so that's most likely where it comes from, but I'm not too sure about that. Now, the next one we have is the tornado. I just want to talk about it because, hey, I love learning about tornadoes and the destructive power. And obviously, the description of this is a destructive force of nature. Now, a tornado is a fast column of air that is rotating quite fast, I guess. And it can sometimes be very deadly. Obviously, there's a whole history about deadly tornadoes, strongest tornadoes, all these different things. Go check out some of the videos on YouTube. I'm not going to explain it. But yeah, it's interesting. I like tornadoes. Whatever. Now, our next one is the dark flame. And some people may have seen the description for it and not understand it. Someone's burning some cream of tartar. What the hell does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. I did a little bit. It doesn't take much research. You can easily search it up. When you burn cream of tartar, the flames start glowing purple. It's very cool, very interesting. It's a chemical reaction. I'm not too sure. I'm not a science nerd. But yeah, that's what it means. And that's why the design of the sticker is purple. And that's why they mention cream of tartar. Because purple flames. Now, for some of these, I'm not sure about, the cyan-hilted sword. If anyone really knows what it is, I don't know if it's, a Legend of Zelda reference or anything like that. If it is, please tell me in the description down, or not in the description, in the comments down below. I'm not too sure, but yeah. Please tell me if you know if this is a reference to anything. If it is, it would be greatly appreciated if you can tell me. Now, obviously, we have something called the atom symbol. If you have done any science, you've probably heard of the atom symbol, especially when you're in high school, like me. You learn about it, and obviously the description tells you everything you need to know. So I'm not going to get into much of it. A barcode, or the barcode sticker, is obviously a little reference to the things that you always see when you try to pay your groceries or whatever you're buying. It's common standard. Now we'll talk about the green circle, the blue square, and the black diamond. So each description has a little thing to it. Now, they're all kind of related with each other, so that's why I'm just going to put them all together. Obviously, green circle's description is for novice skiers, blue squares is for skiers in between, and black diamond is not for novice skiers. Now, if any of you do skiing, you will immediately know the reference. Now, these symbols are used to show the level of difficulty for each slope that you're going to go down. Black diamond being the second hardest, with circle being the easiest. The hardest one is a double black diamond, although that doesn't appear here. Next, we have the black star. The description of this one says, from a village in Norway. Now, if some of you don't know, this is actually a pretty famous album. So Black Star is a direct reference to the 2016 album Black Star by David Bowie. The title track begins with the lyrics, in the villa of Ormen, Ormen being a village in Norway. Now, the gray diamond logo is most likely a reference to the Roblox logo. I mean, if you look at the description, fueling ingenuity, I mean, it's just probably a more descriptive way of saying powering imagination. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting. Now, obviously, you have multiple of these, so I'll list them all out. The Orphan Dog, Pizza Delivery Man, Interrobang Block, Theatrical Intruder, Desperate Booth, Built Ship, Gray-Shaped Companion, Evil Pig, Waving Townsperson, Cop and Robber. Now, what makes this all relate to each other? I mean, if you've ever been on Roblox for more than a minute, you've probably seen at least one of these games. They're all famous games that have been here on Roblox for a very long time. I mean, I don't really need to tell you which games are which, and I'm not going to. I mean, most of you should know. Let's talk about Young Elf. So Young Elf is a pretty well-known meme. It surfaced around in 2013, and it references the gnome child, which came from RuneScape. Shrugging Heart is a pretty interesting one. I did a little bit of research, and it took me a couple minutes, but I suddenly stumbled upon an image which looked super similar to the Shrugging Heart in Beestorm Simulator. After going down a little bit, I found out that Shrugging Heart is most likely a reference to an artwork for the album Un Verano Sin Ti that was created by Bad Bunny. Alright, next we got Classic Kilroy. Now, Kilroy is a pretty famous one. I mean, you may have heard of it from, like, I think it was Vox. They tried going into what Kilroy was. It's dubbed as the first meme ever created, and it was spotted all throughout World War II. And I mean, it's still prevalent today, but not as popular now. But like I said, it's dubbed as the first meme ever created. And there's another variant of it, and in Beastorm, it's called Kilroy with hair. I mean, doing a simple search of Kilroy, going to Google Images, you will find a similar one to this one sticker. And in my opinion, it's probably just an alternative version of drawing it, but with a little bit more details. The only details being really pupils and a little strand of hair. Now, taunting doodle person. I mean, we all know this one. We've seen it from It's Been So Long, the FNAF song. But it's referring to the meme, oh yeah, woo yeah. It's pretty, I like it. Next, we got the prehistoric hand. Now, prehistoric hand is pretty interesting one because we most likely have seen something like that, but for most of us, we don't really understand who or what it came from. Now, I did a little bit of digging, and didn't take long before I found out that prehistoric hand may have been a reference to Cueva de las Manos. I think that's how you say it. But it could also just be a reference to just prehistoric paintings which most of the time would use their hands to paint. Now we also have the prehistoric boar, which will also kind of ties into prehistoric hand. It's most likely referring to a 45,000-year-old Indonesian cave painting that may be the oldest known animal art. And if you want to know what the animal is, it's a pig. Exactly the same that we see for the sticker. So I can say with most confidence that this is most likely the reference. Now, next we have the red doodle person. The description also helps us understand what this is talking about. I mean, you may have seen his art, but this is a reference to graffitiist Keith Haring. He was a pretty famous dude, and he usually would create graffiti in subways using chalk and empty advertisement boards. I'm not too sure, but yeah, this is basically what it's referencing. The description helps a lot with me understanding who this was about, and luckily I didn't have to search too far. Pearl Girl. This one is not the hardest to figure out. I mean, the painting is literally just the one with that woman, that thing. What was it called again? It's just going to be up on the screen. I don't remember. I don't have time to care about what it is. But you get the idea. Famous painting. I think a lot of us has seen it or has heard of it. Next, we've got the abstract color painting. Now, I didn't actually realize that this was a reference to anything. I legitimately thought that this was just some random abstract painting thing that on it just made up. But I decided to do a little bit of searching, and I found out that this is a reference to Mark Rothko's famous painting, white center, brackets, yellow, pink, and lavender on rolls. Hey, you learn something new every day. And obviously, search up the painting itself. Is clearly the same. Prism painting. I mean, this one, do I really need to say anything? Everyone recognizes the album cover of it. It's for Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Now, banana painting. This one's a little interesting. So banana painting is a direct reference to the 1967 album The Velvet Underground and Nico, which has, the sticker that we see as its album cover. The cover is a painting by Andy Warhol, and obviously, if you look at the actual album, you can see the signature on the bottom, Andy Warhol. It's not as intelligible on the sticker, but trust me on this. But yeah, the description, painted on a Sunday morning, is a direct reference to the first song on the album, which is called Sunday Morning. Moai. I don't think I really need to explain it. Do I? Everyone knows what it is. I'm not gonna explain it. Nessie? Well, I mean, we're in new generations. We may have forgotten who this little guy is. Well, Nessie is the Loch Ness Monster. That's a given name to it. It's a little nickname given to the Loch Ness monster. I mean, it was a mythical creature, and there was a really famous photo that went along with it. It was later debunked as fake. Shocker. But yeah, it still lives on today, just not as prevalent. Now we will talk about the ionic column, middle, and base. Now, some people might know what ionic column is, and obviously looking at it, you get a little bit of an idea that this is some kind of Greek type of architect. And you'd be right, because it is Greek architecture, and it is pretty prevalent. If you go to Greece, you will see it everywhere. But the thing is that the description of the ionic column top is a little interesting. Definitely not Doric. Now, I tried figuring out anything. I searched up what a Doric was, and it's a different type of column, like architectural design that was also in Greece. So I think the best assumption is that it's probably a joke about how similar Doric and Ionic are to each other. I mean, I'll just put up a photo of what they both look like. You practically can't tell a difference between the two. So that's probably what it's referring to. Now, orange step array, I'm not going to say for confidently that this is an obby reference, but it most likely is. If it isn't and it's something else, please tell me. I'm not too sure. Next, we've got the royal symbol. At first, I didn't know if this was genuinely any holy crap, my bad guys. I didn't know if this was a reference to like anything at all, but I did a little bit digging, looking at symbols and stuff, and I ended up coming across this. Unfortunately, it told me it was a Japanese Christian sign or something like that. So I searched it up and I got nothing. I used Tanai, went back a bit, and found a link to something about Prince and a symbol. Now, it didn't click in my mind that Prince was a singer, and I found out that this is a altered version of Prince's symbol that he used after ditching his artist name. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'll put the comparison of the two right up so you can tell that I'm not fooling you. It's true. The royal bear. I tried searching up stuff about it, the description and stuff. I can't really find anything. From before democracy revolutionized the mountain, I'm not sure what that means or what it's supposed to be telling me. If any of you know what that is a reference to, please, 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 please tell me. I swear this is a reference to something. If it isn't and I'm just tripping balls, also tell me, please. I don't know. Next, we've got the small tick seed, small white daisy, small pink tulip, and small dandelion. I mean, I don't really need to tell you what they're referencing, but if you're an idiot and you don't know, yeah, it's just referencing a bunch of flowers. That's it. There's nothing really too special about it other than just flowers, and they look kind of cute. I won't lie. Now we've got the mushrooms up. Now, the only ones I'm not going to cover is the spore-covered puffshroom and the prismatic mushroom because they don't exist. And a spore-covered puffshroom could be a reference to spore types of mushrooms that like spit out spores when you break them and stuff like that. But since it has puffshroom in its name, it's most likely a reference in-game, so I'm not really going to talk about that. Now, the white button mushroom, fly agaric mushroom, porcini mushroom, the oiler mushroom, morel mushroom, the chanterelle mushroom, the shiitake mushroom, and the black truffle mushroom are all referencing real-life mushrooms, and the descriptions of them give a little insight to either the mushroom's looks or what they are commonly known or used for. Next up, we've got the leaves. Now, I'll talk about the blowing leaf first because this one I didn't think it even referenced anything until I looked at the description and I just saw the answer, my friend. And I was confused. And maybe some of you were confused too. Well, don't worry, because I got your back. I got you. Now just simply typing up the answer, my friend, gives you the song by Bob Dylan, Blowin' in the Wind. Pretty interesting. And obviously, if you want to know, the running chorus is the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Clear reference. And yeah, pretty cool. Now, next we've got the chordate, cunate, elliptic, hastate, lanceolate, lyrate, oblique, reniform, rhomboid, and spatulate leaf. Now, unlike the puffrooms, it's not actually referring to a specific plant or tree or leaf, but rather it's referring to specific leaf types. Now, there are elliptic leaf types, there are hastate leaf types out there. Search it up, and Wikipedia and other websites will give you all the information you need about them and what plants belong in what category. I'm not going to go into it. It's going to be too much of my time wasted. You get the point. Now, next we've got the star signs. Now, we got Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, I don't know, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Is that how you say it? They're all referencing astrology signs, I'm pretty sure. And obviously checking the descriptions gives you a little insight to the personalities of whatever star sign you're under. Each star sign is assigned by your birth date. So there is a time frame between that. So Aquarius, if you're born between January 20th to February 18th, you're in Aquarius. That's all I really know. But yeah, that's pretty much what that means. I think it's a pretty cool one, and if you get all of the star signs, you get a really cool cup buddy, but it's very hard to get. Trust me, if you want to get it through your own means without trading and stuff, this might be very difficult. It's possible, but probably too difficult without trading. And finally, we have a sticker that hasn't released yet, the Festive Pufferfish. Now this poor little guy, he looks like he's been through a lot this year, and I hope the best for this little pufferfish. But the description of this one is they call him Old Saint Puff. Now, obviously, you might kind of have an idea of what this is a reference to, and it is a reference to Old Saint Nick, a little nice song for when you want to sit by the campfire. No, not campfire, the fireplace. Ugh. But yeah, and I really love the design of this sticker. Tell me which one you like the most out of all of these. It doesn't have to be one I mentioned, but I really enjoyed this update. It's awesome. But yeah, that's it for this video. Pretty long, and I don't want to continue this and bore you to death. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe maybe. I'll do more videos like this and gaming videos too, so stay tuned. Yeah, see you in the next video.